Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So Manchester United's next 6 matches are the biggest of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's career. Now I said to you, didn't I, if we can win our next 5 or 6 games after this international break, then a lot of pressure will ease off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, some pressure eased off him, reflecting on our 3-1 win against Everton. If we'd have failed to beat Everton, then I think Solskjaer would have been sacked as Manchester United manager. Now, we have endured a poor start to this season. We've only registered 10 points from our opening 7 games in the Premier League. And reflecting on that, we are sitting 14th in the Premier League. And we have not yet won at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. It's our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. Does Solskjaer have a future at Manchester United? That is the question. Now, I've said to you, haven't I, there's a few issues he needs to solve at the football club. Now, he's got to solve the Paul Pogba issue. He's got to solve the issues with Mason Greenwood, because Mason Greenwood's had quite a few issues this season, obviously off the pitch. He's also got to work out his best midfield. That's another one. He's got to make a decision on Edison Cavani and Anthony Martial, who's he going to play. Solskjaer's also got to use the right formation. He's also got to identify his best 11. Now, Ole has received a lot of criticism as Manchester United manager because in some aspects he's to blame for our inconsistency, because obviously his team selections and that have been questionable, but not all of the blame stems from Ole, does it? There's obviously certain players that have got to take responsibility. Obviously, the board have been a problem at the club for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been, and we've also overpaid for players. And none of our managers have been backed enough since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Moyes wasn't backed enough, Van Gaal wasn't backed enough, Mourinho wasn't backed enough, and certainly Solskjaer has not been backed enough. Because we missed out on all of his priority targets during the summer transfer window. And Solskjaer revealed a few times during the summer that he was very infuriated with the board. But Ed Woodward came out last week, don't forget, and he said that Manchester United remain absolutely committed to Solskjaer despite our poor start to the season. The main explanation why Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend, and reflecting on that, our board have softened their stance. But disregarding him being a club legend, I think he would have been sacked by now as Manchester United manager. Now, obviously, there has been a lot of rumours about Pochettino becoming Manchester United's next manager. He's obviously been the favourite to take over the club. I don't see Pochettino coming in now because Pochettino will not wait. Massimiliano Allegri, former Juventus manager, he's been on our agenda a few times. The other week there was talks of Julian Nagelsmann coming in, wasn't there? But to be honest with you, it wouldn't really solve a lot sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, would it? Because the manager isn't only the problem at the football club. I don't think he's good enough to succeed as a manager because, like I said, he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager, Solskjaer. Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Now, before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, and before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. He endured a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, didn't they? Ollie was a great player for the football club, don't get me wrong. He endured 11 years as a player, and One of his most iconic moments as a player was 1999 when he did win the club the treble because he scored late on in the Champions League final. Ole has managed over 100 games for Manchester United in all competitions. This is his second full season at the club. He's got a contract until 2022, so obviously if we decide to sack him, we'll have to pay. And he's been at the club now for almost 2 years. Now, obviously, reflecting how long he's been with us, you can say he's learnt quite a bit and, he has gained that managerial experience. Now, like I've said, I have taken positives from his tenure. Like I said, he's made some good signings since he got recommended in as Man United manager. Ollie has spent over £200 million at the football club. He's also got rid of a lot of players since he got recommended in. We're planning to get rid of more players next year. I also like the way he has promoted the youth. Solsjaer did well in his first full season, which was obviously last season. And he showed a lot of tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. And we've had some good periods under him because, was it last season, went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. Also went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the Premier League until Palace beating us on the opening day of this season. You know what I mean? So they are the positives you can take. Now, I said to you, didn't I, if Manchester United could finish in the top 4 this season, and if we could win a trophy, that would represent a good season for Man United because it would give us something to build on, wouldn't it? I want us to definitely win a trophy this season because we've not yet won a trophy under Ollie, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. Now, I think there's a chance we could win the Carabao Cup this season. We are into the quarterfinals of it. We've obviously got Everton. There's a good chance as well that we could win the FA Cup. That's another one. But we won't win the Premier League. And, I don't see us winning the Champions League. But I think we will definitely get to knockout stages of the Champions League. I really, really do. Now, if things are to improve after this international break, then I think Solsjaer will still be Manchester United manager at Christmas and probably still Man United manager in the new year. But we've got to build on that win against Everton. That's what Manchester United have got to do. We've had some good results this season, but we've also had some poor results as well. I was expecting more from Man United this season, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I said, in the last 7 years, nothing's changed. It's just been an ongoing cycle. We've obviously sacked 3 managers since Ferguson left. That was David Moyes. He endured 9 months at the club, or was it 8.5 months? He endured the shortest tenure with Man United, but under the Moyes era, we've finished 7th. Louis van Gaal got sacked after 2 years, despite winning the FA Cup. And Jose Mourinho, he got sacked after 2.5 years, despite winning the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield in his first season. So we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, like I said. And Man United are not really known as a sacking football club anyway. We've spent over £1 billion in the last 7 years or so on players since Ferguson left. So people will say, reflecting on the money we've spent in the last 7 years or so, we should be much more of a commanding position than we are in. You know what I mean? Not only that, we've also got players on big contracts at the football club. And we've made a lot of mistakes in general in the last 7 years or so, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. You know what I'm saying, though? But it doesn't matter who our manager is, whether it be Solskjaer, whether it be Pochettino, whether it be League or whatever. No one will replicate Ferguson's legacy, and no one will last as long as Sir Alex Ferguson did at the club. Simple as that. I think Manchester United need around 5 signings to win the Premier League title. There's obviously other things needed at the club as well. We've got to get rid of more players. We need a new board and we need a new manager, like I've said. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for 8 years. have we? We haven't even marked any title challenge up in the last 7 years or so. So that just indicates how inconsistent we have been. Don't forget though, Ole is inheriting a lot of players here from the Jose Mourinho era. There's still a few players here from the Louis van Gaal era. There's still one player here from the Moyes era. And there's only 2 players here now from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. The vast majority of the players we had under Ferguson have now left the football club. I think it would be very, very beneficial if Manchester United could get a director of football in. Because, like I said, it's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club. And plus, Ole Gunnar Solsjaer would get more backing if we got a director of football in, wouldn't he? But if we had to get one in, we need someone who knows the club inside out and someone who's obviously got that experience. It recently said that Mark Overmars and Edwin van der Sar are eyeing new challenges abroad. Now, Mark Overmars is the director of football at Ajax, and Edwin van der Sar is a chief executive at Ajax. So he's operating the same role as Ed Woodward does at Manchester United. You know what I mean? But there's been quite a few names linked with that director's role. I think we've been in for a director of football now for like the last 3 seasons or something like that. You know what I mean? So there you go. But, like I said, since Fergie left, being inconsistent. Before Ferguson came in, inconsistent. Because we weren't good under Ron Atkinson. We weren't good under Frank O'Farrell. We actually got relegated under Frank O'Farrell back in 1974, which is a good 40 odd years ago now. And we was also very inconsistent under Wilf McGuinness, weren't we? Now, it's good that we are making plans for next year, like I've updated you on my recent videos. Obviously, in January, we're looking to make a few more signings. I presume next summer, we'll be looking to make more signings as well. Now, I think Manchester United definitely need a centre-half, and we also need a right winger. They are the 2 key areas, aren't there? Now, there's a lot of players on our agenda, isn't there? You know, we're going to be going in for Sancho in January, like I've already updated you on. Rafael Varane, I give you the news about him on my recent video. Could be going in for him next year. He's going to cost less than £100 million. He was valued at £100 million at one point. Rafael Varane has got around 18 months left on his current contract with Real Madrid. He's been at Real Madrid now, is it 10 years or almost 10 years? He's made over 300 appearances for them in all competitions and he's won 18 major honours at Madrid and recently sustained an injury whilst he was on international duty. But Rafael Varane, you know, would go very, very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. You know, really, really would. Obviously, David Carmo from Braga, you know, he's been another player on our agenda. By the way, he's another centre-half on our agenda. David Ornstein from The Athletic recently said that around 10 clubs have contacted David Carmo's representatives over the move. Some of them are the top 6 clubs in the Premier League. David Carmo plays for Braga. He only broke into Braga's first team back in January, didn't he? And since then he's played like 20 odd games. He's got a contract with Braga till 2025 and he's got a release clause of around £36 million. Do you think he'd go well alongside Maguire? But obviously we need to offload either Rojo or Jones, you know, before we can get a centre-half in. Dan Axel Zagadou from Dortmund, he's been another player on our agenda. Yeah, he's another centre-half. Jack Grealish, midfielder. We've revived our interest in him. Don't forget we went in for him in the summer transfer window. Ousmane Dembele, you know, could also go in for him in January. Erling Haaland is another player that we could go in for next year. But we're not only going to focus on the incomings, we're also going to focus on the outgoings as well. there is still deadwood at Manchester United. Next year I think we'll be looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard, though, may not leave till the summer. Next summer, that is. Rojo, I think he's going to be leaving in January. Jones, think he's going to be leaving in January. Sergio Romero, think he's going to be leaving in January. Romero is now our third choice goalkeeper. He's always been our backup goalkeeper anyway. Daniel James, I think he'll leave next year because he doesn't get in the team a lot now, and Daniel James is also out of form. Paul Pogba, we're expecting him to leave next year. Matic, I think he could leave because he's lost his place in the team. Juan Mata could even leave. I think Igalo will leave in January when his loan expires. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Manchester United's next game is West Brom at Old Trafford, and that is on Saturday. Like I've said to you already, that's a game Manchester United should be winning. If we do beat West Brom, it'll be our 4th win in the Premier League this season, and it'll be our first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League. So it is a must-win game for Manchester United, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Now, like I've said to you, these players at Manchester United that have recently impressed me, I've got to say, Marcus Rashford, he's recently impressed me. Rashford is actually one of our best players, isn't he? Rashford is out with a shoulder problem at the moment. It says he could be unavailable for the game against West Brom on Saturday. Now, Rashford, don't forget, got an assist against Everton. He should have got his name on the score sheet against Everton. He got a hat-trick against RB Leipzig. Became the second Manchester United player to score a hat-trick as a substitute and scored the late winner in Paris. And he scored a few goals in the league this season. Marcus Rashford's been part of the club for several years. He recently turned 23. Rashford deploys out wide now a lot, but he's more effective out wide than he is centrally, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Bruno Fernandes now, he's also really, really impressed me. Bruno Fernandes is Manchester United's best player. Bruno Fernandes scored twice against Everton, and he also got an assist against Everton. Bruno Fernandes was very, very poor though against Besiktas. That was his worst game, without a shadow of a doubt, in a Manchester United shirt, because he was dispossessed around 34 times, was Bruno Fernandes. But there's only been a couple of games where he has looked off the pace. But in the vast majority of his games, he's been very, very consistent. Fernandes has enjoyed a good 9 months or so now at the football club. Is it 9.5 months, whatever? The vast majority of his goals have come from the penalty spot. Last season, he won Premier League Player of the Month twice, and he won the Matt Busby Player of the Year award. We paid around €55 million for Fernandes from Lisbon back in January. Obviously, he does deploy in that number 10 a lot. But he is undroppable, is Bruno Fernandes. And don't forget, Bruno Fernandes recently said Man United have got the mentality to win the Premier League title. Surprisingly, he said this. And he said it has been too long now since we last won it. And like I said, we haven't won it for 8 years. So it's good that Bruno Fernandes got a lot of confidence despite our struggles. Bruno Fernandes said anyway he came to Manchester to win trophies. Now, I've also been very, very impressed with Donny van de Beek. But Donny van de Beek's hardly played. Donny van de Beek has not yet made his full Premier League debut for the football club. He has started our last 2 games in the Champions League, though, to be fair, Donny van de Beek. Against RB Leipzig, he started in that number 10 role. Now, Donny van de Beek not so long ago revealed that Solsjaer told him to be patient and wait for his opportunities, but Van de Beek made a confession regarding his playing time, and he said he would have loved to have played more at Manchester United this season. I think Solskjaer's been in the process of trying to figure out his best position. Donny van de Beek can play in like 3 different roles, but he's predominantly a box-to-box midfielder. Well, he was at Ajax anyway. But you can put him in the number 10, you can put him out wide. We paid £40 million for him from Ajax, Donny van de Beek. And he signed a 5-year contract with the club with an option of a further year. And he currently wears that number 34 shirt. Now, Fred, I've been very impressed with him. Fred, I like the way he's dictated the play. He showed good attacking intent. What a player he has been this season for Man United. You know, Fred's been at the club now a few years. Didn't we pay around £47 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk? Fred has got a contract with the football club until 2023. And definitely, you know, Fred is undroppable at the moment. I've also been very impressed with Luke Shaw in our last couple of games. Now, the negativity regarding Luke Shaw is that he's out with a hamstring injury and he's out for up to a month with this hamstring injury. That's my only element of concern about him. Too injury prone, but in his last 2 games, he's got 2 assists. Luke Shaw's enjoyed a good 6 years or so now at the football club. I think we paid around £30 million in from Southampton back in 2014. Now, also too, Harry Maguire has impressed me. He's rejuvenated himself, and you know, don't forget, Harry Maguire did have early season troubles, didn't he? Because he had that incident in Greece before the start of the season. He had a few knocks. He got sent off in one of England's games. Harry Maguire is our current captain. You know, he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment because we got him in a deal worth £80 million. And not only the most expensive sign in the world, second most expensive sign at the club, just behind Paul Pogba. Now, Wan-Bissaka, he's also impressed me recently. You know, he showed some good attacking intent, put some good crosses into the box, and defensively being very good. You know, this is Wan-Bissaka's second season at the club. Didn't we get him for like £50 million from Palace in the summer of 2019? David De Gea, he's impressed me recently. Good to see him bounce back. Made some very good saves in quite a few games this season. But there again, there's been a couple of games where he hasn't really had much to do. But I said De Gea will remain our number 1 this season. This is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant at the football club. Juan Mata, you know, he's impressed me in a lot of the games he's played in this season. You know, he did well in both of our Carabao Cup games against Luton and Brighton. Got man of the match for both of them games. He did well against Newcastle and he did well against Chelsea. Weren't so good though against Everton and Solsjaer. This is Juan Mata's, is it his 6th season now? He's enjoyed a good 6 years or so now at the club. We got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for, was it £40 million. Juan Mata scored 50 goals for the football club in all competitions and he's made over 200 odd appearances. Edinson Cavani, I've also been impressed with him recently. Now, Cavani scored his first goal for Manchester United in our 3-1 win against Everton. He almost scored with his first touch when he came on against Chelsea. Now, I give you the news on him on a recent video, didn't I? Edinson Cavani got shown a straight red card for Uruguay yesterday for the nasty stamp on Richarlison. You know, Uruguay had lost by 2-0 against Brazil. We got Cavani on a free transfer on deadline day, didn't we? You know, Cavani signed a 2-year contract with the club worth around 220 grand a week, and Edinson Cavani wears the number 7 at Man United. But like I've said, we need to start him on Saturday against West Brom. There's rumours saying he could be starting, so that's very good. Now, there's a few players that I haven't been particularly impressed with. You know, Martial, I think he's been very disappointing. Now, Anthony Martial, don't forget, did have a 3-match suspension in the Premier League. But now he served that 3-match suspension. Martial shouldn't have been sent off anyway in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. Now, he's been poor this season though in the games he's played in. I think he scored in his last 2 Champions League games. But last season, Martial was good under Ole, and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial's endured over 5 years or so now at the football club. Martial's, by the way, had a few back problems, and recently he was training separately away from the France squad. Saying Martial's a doubt for the game at the weekend, but I'd still drop him anyway, Martial, and start Cavani ahead of him. Unless we put Martial out wide, if he's available, then put Cavani out up top or whatever, we'll see. Now, with Mason Greenwood, he hasn't really been playing a lot, has he? Let's be honest, you know. We're having a few issues with Mason Greenwood, obviously off the pitch and that. We obviously fear that he could throw his career away like Ravel Morrison. Eddie Boothroyd, the England under-21 manager, he recently confirmed why Mason Greenwood was not part of the England under-21 squad. That was because of injuries and personal issues and all of that. And earlier on the season, he got withdrawn from the England squad with Phil Foden for breaking COVID-19 rules. Solsjaer, by the way, has been defending Mason Greenwood in recent weeks. He didn't play any part against Everton because Solsjaer confirmed he was out with illness. Now, he's saying he may not be available for the weekend against West Brom. So in that case, if Mason Greenwood can't go on the right, then I think we're probably going to have to put Juan Mata on that right-hand side. But Mason Greenwood's still the foreseeable future for Man United, definitely. Like I said, I've been very, very disappointed with the Nemanja Matic. The games he's played in this season, he hasn't been that good, but he's lost his place now in the team anyways, Matic, like I've said. Pogba, he's been very, very inconsistent. Pogba's lost his place now in the team anyway, and reflects on that, he's unhappy. Pogba's only started 2 of our last 7 games in the Premier League, or is it all competitions? Didier Deschamps has been talking a lot about Paul Pogba recently. Now he's come out and said that he understands Paul Pogba more than Solsjaer. He understands Paul Pogba more than Solsjaer, and he's praised him for his huge talent. France recently beat Sweden by 4-2. Didier Deschamps obviously said he can't be happy at the club for playing out of position and for being left on the bench, obviously. But he's received criticism a lot in recent weeks as Pogba. Pogba recently made a few comments saying that this season is the worst. He said this season is the most difficult period in his career. And he was talking about his struggles at Manchester United this season. And he says playing for France is a breath of fresh air. And Paul Pogba was also unhappy when we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract earlier on in the season. So Paul Pogba's relationship with Solskjaer has become complicated, you know. Reflect on, you know, what Pogba's come out and said and that. But like I said, I'm expecting Paul Pogba to leave the football club next year. You know, where will he go? Real Madrid? Will he go back to Juventus? Probably so. You know, PSG and Barcelona have been in for him before. You know what I mean? So, yeah. McTominay now, he's had some good games, but there's also some games where he's looked off the pace. You know, McTominay's nowhere near as good as Fred. Daniel James, like I said, you know, he's been out of form and he's also been very, very disappointing. Victor Lindelof, you know, I still think there's aspects of his game that I've got to improve as well. But I've got too many element of concerns about him. You know, he's nowhere near on the same level as Maguire. You know, Lindelof has had some good games this season, don't get me wrong. So, there you go. And we have got quite a few injuries at the moment. I think Alex Telles is going to be a very, very good signing for Man United. I really, really do. Telles is going to be available for the game on Saturday against West Brom because UOL, which is a Brazilian outlet, they have said that he's tested negative for coronavirus. But on Saturday, it was totally contrast because on Saturday, there was reports coming out from Brazil saying that Alex Telles had tested positive for COVID. And, you know, he's already had COVID once, hasn't he? So far, Telles has played one game for the club, and that was a 2-1 win against PSG. Didn't we get Telles for around 15.4 million? And Telles signed a 4-year contract with the football club, don't forget, with an option of a further year. And you already know the news on Facundo Pellistri, don't you? Solsjaer's facing a dilemma with him because Solsjaer's not yet put him into the first team, has he? And Solsjaer promised to get first team opportunities, but at the moment Facundo Pellistri's playing for the under-23s. Traore, you know, when he comes in January, what's going to happen? Is he going to get straight into the first team, or is he going to go into the academy and then emulate himself up into the first team? So anyway, guys, that's everything to update with today. Drop me comments, likes, below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.